I'm Layne, Caterpillar's North American Waste Application Specialist, and we're talking about our walk-around inspections. And why do we do the walk-around inspections? Well, number one, safety, and also to prolong the life of this machine and increase performance efficiencies. So when we talk about my daily inspections, so some of the things I'd look at right here from a safety standpoint, I would write this down in my inspection form, and I'd write up the step. Waste being a very harsh environment, probably the harshest environment we can put a piece of equipment in, but very easily things get damaged throughout the day, throughout the weeks, throughout the months we're using our machines. So this is something I'd point out. Something got in there, kind of bent this, makes it a little bit hard to climb up this ladder and unsafe to get into this cab. The handrail's bent a little bit, so what I would do, I'd write this down on my inspection form and turn that in to the maintenance department and say, hey, this is something, we need to get fixed, right? Because we're talking safety. And we've mentioned before, when we look at an operator who gets hurt on the job, 75% of all those injuries to an operator on the job are simply from mounting and dismounting the machine. So it's already hard enough to get into the machine. But now when I got some steps bent or a handrails bent, that increases that likelihood that I could get hurt climbing in and out of that machine. Looking at the back part of my machine and my daily walk-around inspection, a couple things I look at. When we talk about the transfer station, right, it's already reduced visibility because of the lighting inside the transfer station itself. But I notice right here on my light, I've got, it's cracked. So this would be another thing that I would write up and turn into the maintenance that we got to get that cover replaced, right? So I've got good back brake lights, things like that inside that transfer station. Another thing I'd look at with the walk-around inspection too is I've got my bolts for my counterweight on here, and I've always wanted to look at those and make sure those are tight. But I've got some trash and debris built up inside here around that bolt head. So I need to remove that so I can look inside there and make sure that the bolts on the counterweight are tight as well. Okay, looking at this area of the machine here, we talked about our walk-around inspections and why we do them, right? Safety and increase the life and performance of the machine, okay? This would be something I would look at and call increasing the life and the performance of the machine. I don't have the shield here to protect my DEF tank. And we've already know with DEF, it's very easily contaminated. So a couple things here could happen if I don't get that shield back on. Number one, some debris could get inside here and possibly puncture the DEF tank and I lose my DEF fluid, which then that's gonna have to be replaced. That's gonna down the machine. It's gonna cost more money. Or a lot of that dust can build up around the cap and it makes it harder to clean. So when I do gotta add DEF, then I run the risk of contaminating that DEF system. So I definitely want to get this shield, write this up, and get this shield replaced. Another thing I'd go back to and point out would be the safety issue. You notice my step right here that allows me to step up and put a foot there if I got to clean my windows. The step is bent up. So now I can't safely get up top to possibly clean the windows or get into that area there. So I definitely have to write the step up, turn that into maintenance so we can get that replaced. And then another thing we'd probably look at is my window right here. You can see something got into the window, shattered it, so we got to get that replaced as well. And I'm going to write that up on my inspection form. I'm going to turn it in. Those would be safety issues that we need to get corrected.